How's your week going, Rick?
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench podcast here on a Tuesday. And, man, we're off and running here in the start of 2022, aren't we? Wow.
We're just festive, man.
We're very festive. We have a lot of people here in studio today. I want to go by and we'll go around and introduce everybody. But we have a special guest today. I'm going to talk with her. Her name is Wendy Pressler, and she's a business coach. We're going to talk to her about what she does. And we have a lot of good information. Like I said, we're going to have our full-on co-hosts that are here, right? And if you guys don't know about this channel, this is the most real and behind-the-scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs. And guys, please hit that like button, smash it. And let's go around the room. So we got a great guest, actually a couple people we're going to introduce today. So Rick, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, good evening. Good evening. Everything's great. How are you doing?
Good, man. So what did you do for New Year's? Anything happening?
Oh, of course. I have a one grandson whose birthday is on January 1st. So
wow.
we had a big birthday for him. And so
cool.
It was all good.
Yeah, man. New Year's is, it's different. Like I was like a little leery about going out because all I hear is the horror stories. First off, it was cold. Like I'm sure everybody here was cold, right? So it's like, I don't know if I want to go outside.
I've been hitting the gym in the morning at 23 degrees.
Oh, so, wow. What time do you hit the gym?
Usually about 3:30.
Oh,
3:30 to 4.
3:30 in the morning?
Dude, what time you get up?
No way.
About 3:15.
He does get, I thought it was more like 4:30.
Well,
Damn,
no,
3?
I get there about 3:45, 4.
What time do you get up?
About 3:15. Yeah, you got to get it done early so I can get to the office and then make it here and make it a 16-hour day, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you right now, I got stories, man. My grandfather used to wake up at 3, and the spouse, whoever that is, does not like that. You know what I mean? They wake up. It's like my mom, like my dad gets up real early. When my dad gets up, my mom's like, dude, go back to bed.
Dude,
my wife gets
up at 3 o'clock every morning.
Hey, we're on different schedules because she doesn't go to sleep until midnight.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So you guys don't see each other. It's almost like
you remember he says the secret to being married.
Yeah. but hey, keep in mind that in the office she sits 3 feet from me. So yeah, we do see each other.
Wow. Good morning, honey. Good morning.
And if you guys don't know who this guy is over here, this is Mr. Bret Jenny from Simply Vegas. Bret, what's happening, buddy? How are you today?
Good, man. I'm doing well. You know, just trying to put in my time and.
Dude, you came in firing away. Look at you.
You know, a little energy in me today.
So what's going on, man? How did you spend New Year's? Did you do anything?
Barely made it through, man. I mean, I was ripping it up. Probably.
Ripping what up?
I didn't even get
what were you ripping up?
I didn't even get to bed till like 9:30 at night.
How many rips did you take?
Dude, I didn't even go out, man. I didn't even make it to 10 p.m. I got a new mattress. Man, that was like my New Year's present. I'm a party animal these days.
Also, I want to go ahead and introduce, we have over here our special guest, and I want to introduce her because she's been waiting here. So we got Wendy Pressler. She's over here she's a business coach. So Wendy, explain to everybody who you are and how you got here. First off, I want to talk with you. So go ahead.
Well, I got here because you invited me.
Yes.
And by car. And by car.
Good call.
Yeah.
So I'm a master certified coach through the International Coach Federation. And I have been coaching since 1992. Back when I was 5, I started.
Wow.
Nice.
You're 5. Woo. You said, how old were you?
I was 5, yeah.
Wow.
So you look a young 26.
Yeah. No, but coached part-time while I was in corporate America for about 15 years, and the last 15 years full-time.
Okay.
So we're going to talk with her in a second. I just want to introduce her because she is our guest of honor. Mm-hmm. And I also want to introduce over here, we have Corin's back. Corin, what's going on?
Hey, Happy New Year.
Man, you look ready to go. Look at you. You got
I'm
the
always
dress.
ready to go.
Corin's always decked out.
What did you do for New Year's? I don't even want to
God.
know. What did you do?
What did you do?
I wish. No, it was quiet and boring, just like me.
You didn't go out?
I didn't. I know.
Come on. I
But
thought for
stayed
sure.
out later than you. I know.
Yeah.
I
I
almost
thought
did.
you'd have like 5 or 6 different guys lined up. And you're just
I
kind
don't know why he said that.
5 or 6 guys?
Facebook.
Brett,
It's
what
on
are you?
the
How many
Facebook
guys
guys.
you said you have messaging you? Always in your
Doesn't mean I
DMs.
message back. That's what's important.
Hi,
I don't
gorgeous.
message back.
Good morning.
Hi, gorgeous. I was like, yeah, baby, you want to buy a house or what? Just
Buy a house or shut up,
Hey,
right?
hey, but Corinne, I bet you get those people that are real like late at night. They'll text you and they'll try to get like say, "Hey, what you doing?" You know, like
Slide
they,
in your
They,
DMs.
they act like they want to buy a house,
do you want to buy a house? Yeah.
but they don't really want to buy a house.
Great,
They just
I
want
gotta
to
get
say
some
hi,
sleep.
Corinne.
Welcome to our world,
Yeah,
online world of the
welcome.
female.
Zero problems men have.
Also,
Like, that doesn't
Also,
happen.
I want to introduce Sharon Miller.
No,
Shannon
no,
Miller.
sir.
Shannon Miller.
Shannon.
I
It's
said
very Irish.
my fault.
Just reach over.
Shannon
I know,
Miller.
it's right here.
There you go.
Shannon Miller.
Yep.
How you doing today, Shannon?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you for coming. How do you like the vibe in here, Shannon?
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Let's do this.
You
What
love
are we
it?
waiting for? I told you.
Time of her life.
Time of her life.
Okay,
so,
all right, don't push it.
so what do you? So Shannon, what do you do? What did you do for New Year's? Did you do anything exciting?
Do you want the truth, or do you want me to give you the?
I want
nice
the. I want the.
version?
We want the half truth.
We want like
Half truth.
What happened?
Okay.
Did you wake up
Truth,
somewhere?
but
and-
si-
No,
Exaggerated.
So beautiful restaurant, friends there. Possibly got roofied and.
what? Oh wow! What?
Hey,
Are
know
you
me.
serious?
I'm not joking.
No way.
No, I'm not joking. And anyway,
Where was
So
this
how
at?
do
I don't-
you
I mean,
can you can
say where
taste
it's
or
at?
No,
what?
I don't want to say the name of the restaurant because it wasn't their fault. I think
Wow.
I never. But yeah, no, it was super scary.
So you can like taste it or what?
No.
Or just like you
Yeah.
start getting drowsy and then you knew?
You feel it. Yeah.
And that's how you knew.
Yeah, you know. Oh yeah, it's not good.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's like a downer thing to talk about.
No, it's all good. I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
wow.
things like this
Yeah.
happen in life that
Yeah.
people are just
You gotta
scared
be
to talk
careful.
about it.
That's terrible.
Well,
Well,
especially women.
good for you for
Yeah.
having a system around you of people or whatever,
Oh yeah.
so that
no joke.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. So it's your first rodeo,
Let's
right?
get in and talk here for a second.
Stop it.
I want to
No,
talk.
I mean going out, like
Let's talk real quick. Okay, I know we're all just having a chat here, but let's talk with our guest of honor here, Wendy. And so, Wendy is a business coach, and she's going to explain to us. First off, Wendy, I know you kind of explained how you got into it. What attracts you to helping people with business and coaching them, and kind of guide us into how somebody would get a hold of you and what they deal with?
Sure. So you can get a hold of me by going to my website, which is www.coachingbywendy.com. Under services, there is a free assessment. And once you fill that out, you get a link to schedule a time on my calendar. But how I got into it, was that your question?
Yeah, so like people want to know like why. First off, what is the purpose of a business coach? We all know a coach is like, a lot of people have problems where they can't stay consistent in business. They start off just like in working out. They start off, they're 2 or 3 months in, and they're starting to see results, but then they kind of tally off or fade away a little bit on some of the things they need to do. And I'm not saying you hold them accountable, but I'm saying why would somebody need a coach? Because I think
I'm sure
you
that's
get
part of it.
Well, you get the results, but she's not going to somebody that's going to be babysitting these people, right?
Well, let
Yeah.
me back up for a second. So a lot of people have a misconception regarding coaching because it's not currently a regulated industry. So 95% of the people out there calling themselves coaches printed a business card. They
Gotcha.
don't know what coaching is. They've never been trained and they're not credentialed.
Okay.
So what they're probably doing is consulting, which means coming in, assessing the situation, giving people advice, telling them what to do, not coaching.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
two different things.
So as a coach, the intention is to create the goal. Spend the time figuring out what's
Gotcha.
in the way of you having the future that you're committed to having.
Okay.
So accountability is maybe 5% of it, but that's what I call babysitter coaching, facilitative coaching. It's really about ontological coaching, coaching you in how you're showing up on a daily basis, because there's the doing, there are the actions you need to take to achieve the goal, but then there's who are you being when you're taking those actions.
Okay.
If you know that you need to make 100 calls to hit your quota, but your head is somewhere else when you're making them,
Yep.
you're not going to hit the quota.
So are you basically setting up systems?
No, that's
No
consulting.
system. That's consulting.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So it's really an inquiry. It's like we're going on an exploratory journey together to figure out what's in the way of you having what you want? And I think when you look at goals, you really have to figure out, are these really the right goals? We're in the new year.
Yeah.
Are you having should goals that you've carried over from last year? I looked up the stats for New Year's resolutions. So for last year, 50% said working out more, getting into better shape.
Sure.
48% said losing more weight. And then the next one came in at 46% said saving more money. And then it was, again, about fitness, better eating choices, right? And then it went to things like achieving a new career goal, creating a new hobby, spending more time with my family.
How many of those people do you see or do you find falling off of the bandwagon? Because I've only been working out at the gym for 20 years, and come January 2nd, there's always 20 to 50% more people, and by March,
Yeah, it's
you're
filled.
right back to the same people that
No,
we've.
first 2 weeks of the
Well-
year, I don't
And
go to
then-
the gym.
Yeah, and then
Because
it
it's
drops
Because
off.
you have to
Yeah.
you have to
Drops
change your
off.
lifestyle.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
So-
a mindset.
I don't go to the gym because it's full of wannabes.
So, well, not at 3:30 not at 4 in the
No,
morning.
Yeah.
But still, you still get a lot of
Jesus.
people in.
Yeah.
And so my question is this: is how many of those people stick with it? What percentage really find that coaching works for them?
Well, I think you have to distinguish between New Year's resolutions, which 95% of people have dropped them after 6 weeks.
They're not necessarily people who are serious about
Versus
goals
goals,
happening
right?
in
Goal
life.
setting.
Yeah, not to the point where they're going to hire someone.
What are
yeah.
your serious intentions? What do you really want to create in your life? And what are you willing to commit to? So with a coach, you're paying someone, and my coach tells me, make sure you're charging them enough that it hurts,
Yep, skin in the game.
right?
Yep.
So most business coaching clients stick around 12 to 18 months.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. And a lot of them achieve the goal, but then they want to expand it and create a bigger goal,
Sure.
which is great, right? I've had some clients for 7 years. And I tell clients, don't hire a coach for less than 6 months, because if we're really talking about changing how you show up on a daily basis, that's not going to happen overnight.
So in a sense, you're like a sports psychologist,
It's more like psychologist.
right? I
than-
mean, yeah,
it's
like
definitely not
you're,
sports.
It's definitely
Well, but
psychology.
in a
It's the
sense,
only
but
thing I can't
different kind of business is you're finding what's their goal, what's stopping you, what are these obstacles in the way, and the mental blockers that are keeping them from that.
Yeah.
And you're freeing that up for them and identifying that for them.
Right. So it doesn't matter if my client's a CEO or a entrepreneur,
Uh-huh.
business owner, attorney, doctor.
You're helping them be the best of them that they want to be. and can be.
Exactly. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself on a very consistent basis, not letting anything take you out,
Yeah.
or on the rare occasion that something does take you out, being able to get right back up
Yeah.
there immediately. So you're basically unstoppable.
So what process do you use to get down to the underlying motivation that's going to keep them moving when they want to quit?
So junior coaches tend to use processes, and once you get more advanced in your coaching career, it's really just about the listening. It's figuring out what it is about that person that's in the way. So each week, a client will show up to their coaching session with a specific request. Today, I want to accomplish X, right? And we take a look at, okay, so what is it about you that we need to address or resolve in order for this to happen?
Basically, at the end, people will tell you what their obstacle is keeping them from. You just observe it by listening to them.
I ask a lot of open-ended
Yeah,
questions.
so by listening to them, they unveil themselves what's stopping them in a sense.
Yeah, probably 70% of a coaching session is me listening
Okay.
to them. And it's about asking powerful questions that are going to have light bulbs go off in their
Sure.
head. If I ask a question that I think I know the answer to, it's a bad coaching question because it's a leading question.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, so you're basically a therapist.
Yeah.
In a lot of
No,
ways. Well, in a lot of
therapy's
Say
in-
that.
I get that, but I mean, you're getting behind the mentality that's stopping somebody from doing something and
Right.
freeing that,
But
in a sense.
to be clear, I would lose my coaching credentials if I was doing anything therapeutic.
Agreed. So I'm not saying you're by any means,
Right.
you know.
But the difference, just for everybody listening, therapy is about healing some kind of an issue or trauma from the past. So you
Sure.
spend most of the time in the past. And
Understood,
the
yeah.
therapist is
I
a
meant the
subject
psychology
matter
part of it,
expert.
yeah.
So a therapist is up here and the patient's down here.
Okay.
And in coaching, it's really a peer-to-peer.
Okay.
I'm never going to be the subject matter expert
Sure.
in my client's business or personal
Sure.
life.
I guess I didn't mean it like a typical
So
But it is,
therapist,
it's about the
but yeah,
mind.
it's you're mentally getting in their mind and figuring out what it is that's keeping them from achieving it, and then focusing in on that.
Well, they're
correct?
figuring it out.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
just
but you're
asking
helping them.
questions,
Correct. You know
right?
how to guide them towards that.
Yeah.
Towards that
So
area.
when you were in corporate America and you were working for, I'm assuming, larger corporations doing this, is there a difference between being in the corporate world and being in your own business world as to what the approach is?
So when I was in corporate America, I wasn't coaching in my corporation. I was a global director in a Fortune 100 company, and I had a coaching practice on the side that was totally separate. So
Okay.
when I first got introduced to coaching, what I was passionate about was coaching people around their finances. And so I got out of corporate America because I had a rule that I would never work for anyone that I didn't want to have over for dinner and a glass of wine.
That's a good rule to have in business,
is the
dude.
best rule.
That's a real
That's
good
great.
rule. Yep.
So the CEO brings someone
That's
in
a really good rule.
who lets my great boss go, and the new guy's never getting an introduction or an invitation to my house, right? So I convince them that 7 years is long enough. I make them put me on the next layoff list. I have my 95-year-old grandmother living with me. She was not enjoying my international travel schedule the way I was.
Really?
So I took 2 years off until she passed away. I was
Okay.
with her, and when she passed away, I felt like I need to do something where I'm making a difference on a daily basis, like I can for her.
Sure.
And it was like, oh, duh, I need to be coaching every day instead of part-time.
right.
Yeah.
So I've been coaching full-time for about 15 years now.
So new question.
Yep.
I'm assuming that it's for the most part you, as opposed to having a bunch of little Wendy coaches, that you're the main cog. How many clients can you service at any one time?
20 clients at one time. I coach Monday through Thursday, 5 clients a day.
Wow.
That's a lot.
So is there? I got a question on this. So is there a distinction between somebody that's that does really well with their business, like there's a certain mindset, versus somebody that just comes in and they're just getting started? What separates that usually for people?
I think it's a willingness to not think they know all the answers. So to keep learning
That's a
and
good
growing
point.
and developing. You had asked me, Dan, earlier when we were speaking about, are there people really afraid of failing? Right?
Right.
So if you read really great book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks.
So good.
Isn't that
It's one
great?
of the best. Yeah.
So he talks about the upper limit problem. And the thing that has people not achieve their goals, where they stop themselves and self-sabotage, it's either they can't tolerate things going too well for too long, or they're afraid of being alone, or they're afraid of failing, or they're afraid of outshining other people,
So in a sense, they're afraid of succeeding.
Right.
Succeeding.
right?
Yeah.
It
That
goes
makes
both
sense,
ways.
man. Because
It's
I'll be
sabotage.
honest with you, that's probably where I was mentally with myself when I first started in real estate 16 years ago. And through a series of events that unfolded that weren't good, it ended up becoming who I am as a person, and it was the best thing ever for who I was as a human being and my self-belief, my self-confidence in the end. But yeah, I would say that's 100% true about people.
Do you
saying,
hit that like a hot, like, oh, we got it, like we fixed that person, or there's a certain moment when you're talking to somebody, and it's like, okay, they finally got it, like where it's just a process. Like he went through a dramatic situation, or maybe he just feels like he just can't get there. Is there like an epiphany type position where people go into and like, I finally figured this out?
Well, I think in coaching, my clients are healthy, intelligent, resourceful people. They don't need to be fixed. If they need to be fixed, I'm referring them to a therapist.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But sometimes in a given coaching session, the light bulbs are going off, right? The epiphany moment. But it's about a particular situation. It's never like, ta-da, I've solved like life's,
Sure.
Yeah. achieved nirvana, figured out the whole of life.
Can you give us generically a couple of situations that are commonplace that you're fixing for people?
Yes. So when I'm coaching the CEO or a head of an organization, it's often because whatever they were doing that got them into that position is no longer getting them where they need to be. Right. So maybe they crawled over people's backs to get to the top, and now their job is to bring people up. And they can't figure out why everyone seems to not like
I
them.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I totally
Okay.
believe in coaching. I have a real estate coach. I will not give her up for anything.
Well, I'm not. Don't worry, because I'm not leaving. Oh, somebody else. I thought.
And if she's a real estate coach, she might be
I was
a real
always
estate
willing
consultant.
Whatever
There is
she
a
is doing,
difference.
is
There
that
is
right?
a difference
Well,
because when you said that, I thought the same thing. There's
She's
a difference
a
between
sub-
a
She's
consultant
a
and a
subject
coach.
matter expert
Oh,
in
got
real
it.
estate,
Yeah.
and she's
Well,
telling you how to do it.
she was the number one realtor in Canada for
Yep.
years. So
So she's a
Eh?
great real estate consultant.
She was, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
let's not
was
do
a-
any plugs though. We don't need to plug her, do we? No, I'm just,
Okay, okay, eh?
I'm just playing.
Don't
But
you
no,
know?
Got the
I mean,
maple
she,
leaf?
she keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
I know she's on my calendar. She's going to ask me about this. She's going to ask me, did I read a trashy book by the pool? Even stuff like that. I have to have somebody tell me to relax and have fun.
You can read that trashy book by the pool. It's cool.
That sounds
I can't
exciting.
do it. I
Except
couldn't.
it's
up.
cold
I
right now.
couldn't do it. It was-
Real trash.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff was hard, like relax and be good to yourself. And
Well,
Yeah.
you tell some of your clients that. She
Oh,
tells me
hey, you have to take yourself
we have to
personal
be
care.
told that.
If
It's
you
terrible.
don't refill your own batteries, you got nothing left for anybody
Oh,
else.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Personal
You can't
care
show up.
is
Yeah, I had
critical.
serious burnout, and she helped me out.
Well, I think there's a blend. So like when you think about like changes and it's a crusade. Like life is not like month to month. I mean, it is to a point, but you're looking at it, if you're looking at it from your perspective as where will I be in the next 12 months, 5 years, things like that. So it's a constant, like they always say baby steps, I guess, right? I don't know if that's a great analogy to say that, but it's just a constant like, hey, how do I keep on this path? And I think that's the hardest
Yeah.
thing for people, right?
Well, I'll give you an example. In the financial services industry, I was coaching the VP of a company, and the president was getting ready to leave and go to another geography.
Right.
And she was convinced that if it was announced that she was now the president, 95% of her employees would quit.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And she was completely competent, but she lacked the confidence and the presence.
Oh, I was gonna say it's not. I was gonna say because she had such a bad reputation with them.
No,
It's just herself in
she's
her
great.
Her
head.
own story.
Okay, because I was
It's her own
like,
story that she's telling
wow, she was
herself.
a.
Well, listen, confidence is a big deal. I think if you have
No,
confidence, in anything-
that's what I mean. Like, was someone holding themselves back?
But it can be a big deal in both ways. You have
Mm-hmm.
the CEO who's overconfident, who everyone thinks he's a jerk, right? And so nobody wants
Yeah.
to show up.
Would we
because
call
he
that a
doesn't-
narcissist?
You mean a CEO as a narcissist? What?
What?
So,
Not men.
No.
so one of the things I do,
We didn't define gender.
so we can do leadership assessments to really figure out how people are doing in the areas that are most highly correlated to effective leadership
Okay.
and business performance. And what are the tendencies they have that are getting in the way of them being effective? So are they a control freak? Do they comply? You know, are they protecting themselves? Those aren't going to go well for a leader and somebody
Sure.
trying to achieve big business goals. And for somebody who is all task oriented and not paying attention to any of the relationships or how are the employees doing, that won't work well, right? So
Yeah.
employee retention these days, big problem, right?
yeah, I mean,
half of them won't even show up to the office.
Well, you see all these stores. So what are, we got the Omicron, but what are the problems that we're seeing is that there's shortage of staff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's kind of coinciding with what she's saying, but it does play a part, and it's a big deal when you don't have staff and you can't keep them around and they just want to leave. That's not a good environment to be in.
Yeah, the power dynamic has shifted, and employees recognize now they have the power and they can ask
Yeah.
for whatever they want, and they'll sit at home and do something different.
That's something I didn't think I would see in my lifetime. You know?
Oh, millennials, my twin millennial.
Yeah, they just
daughters?
won't put up with it.
They
No,
won't.
they just
They will
like,
not.
dude,
That's
they.
me.
Yeah,
That's me.
You
I'm unemployed.
even
Yeah.
won't even fathom the idea of
You know what it is? For,
because you can just to be
can
fair
get
though,
somewhere and-
because you can get away with it.
Well, you
it's
know
not
what?
like you were the first generation to come up with and hate
Right.
want to work for somebody else. We
Yeah.
just couldn't get away with it.
You know what? Like,
Just so you know, for the
me,
record.
working in the corporate environment, though, I felt like there was always this pushback, in
You're right.
leadership of the push down. Everything was this is what you
Yep.
did wrong. You're never good enough, and you're trying your hardest. And I just decided one day, I was like, I don't want anybody holding me back anymore.
Yeah.
And one of the things that helped me build my last business was having my coach. And she was a true coach.
Good for you.
I was very clear on it. There was not consulting; it was coaching, and she changed everything for me. Like, it really works if you find the proper person that
You
actually has the
changed
credentials.
everything with her support.
Yes.
Yeah.
My whole life, everything, even my business, everything.
Yeah.
It was amazing. She's amazing.
So when I first started out, I was in a national company, which is now out of business. Household Finance Corporation was the largest finance company in the country. But one of the things that I hated was exactly what you're talking about. But that's the way it was done, and it was
Yeah,
called,
that's what I'm
it was
saying
called
is we didn't have a
management-
choice.
Management by exception.
Yeah.
They never told you what you
Yep.
were doing right. It was only what you were
Yep.
doing wrong.
Yep.
That drove me nuts.
And that's the thing. And honestly, good for you guys, man. I mean, to not have to put up with it, none of us wanted to, but good for you guys for finding ways that you didn't have to. And you're right, they just simply won't.
Yeah.
So a new
like
question
hard.
this-
No. Hard.
that,
They got
that
skills,
Wendy
they got-
brought
Dude,
up.
yeah, they
They're
don't.
gone.
They can start an online shirt company from there.
So I wanted to piggyback off of this that Wendy brought up is that one of the potential issues of these CEOs is keeping in contact with employees and how they're feeling and how that's going. How is all of this working from home interfering with that, keeping in touch with the employees? I mean, what are they trying to do on a corporate level to keep in touch?
Well, it's a brand new muscle to be built, right? So CEOs had a challenge in the corporate office if they were sitting in their pretty office and nobody kind of got in because they weren't relating. And now at one level, everybody's a square on a Zoom box. So you don't actually see the hierarchy. You don't see that the CEO has the office 10 times the size of the person in the
You're
cubicle.
not walking by it every day. It's not in front of you. Yeah.
Right? But a lot of people are either giving benefits to employees, giving gift cards for, going and buying snacks or, paying for the internet, all kinds of different at-home perks, and doing some smaller get-togethers outside of the house.
One of the things that I thought would happen, and this is back in 2019 when I was holding, when this first started, and I was holding my own office meetings, was that corporate America would quickly figure out that it's so much cheaper to have people at home, even if you're giving them these little perks, because your insurance goes down, the size of your buildings go down, your rent goes down, and in relationship to how much extra you can do in these small perks, they're saving gazillions.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've never understood why. Well, I know why, but I
from an
didn't really
employee-
understand how why do employers need you there? And the only answer I ever came back on truly was that control.
Well, but
They
It's a fear
needed to
factor.
have that. They needed to have that control.
isn't
But-
it true though that there are
You could have
certain
always worked from home.
But there are certain personalities that honestly they can't self manage that and actually
Sure,
do
but
as
me,
much.
you stick me in an office, I
You're
get 10
different.
times
You're
done.
a zebra. Okay, all right.
I don't know what that is.
So it goes
I don't know what
both
that
ways.
is. Is that good or bad?
You have people who work from home who are more productive, and their problem is, how do I stop working? Because I
Yeah.
get up at 6 a.m. and I go look
That's
at my
all I
emails.
do, man. I'm
That's
even my
right.
days off. I'm
And at 9 p.m. you're still at your desk.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so that can be a problem. And you have
why is
to,
that a problem? I like that.
You have to.
Perspective.
Well,
Yeah.
you need some balance in life, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
And I loved some of the memes that I saw on Facebook in the last year and a half, coming up on 2 years, where the kids were duct taped to the wall. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that someone's lazy and can't self-motivate and be productive. It's their kids are like, Mom, I need help with my schoolwork.
Yeah.
I need a snack. I'm hungry again.
That was me.
What's
Dude,
interesting?
I couldn't imagine.
What's
man.
interesting on the flip side of that, we had a couple of builders in here, and their perspective on the city building permits is just the opposite of them working at home. It's like pulling teeth to get them to do anything. They're busy watching Oprah and whatever else they're doing.
She's not on anymore.
I don't think that's a thing.
Is she?
That's
Is Oprah still on, Rick?
Maybe the Golden Girls.
Rick's still up on his daytime TV. Oprah retired like
Yeah.
15 years ago. We're not watching Oprah.
Days of Our Lives.
She's on her own network.
Magna PI.
Magna PI.
Days
Still
of
watching
Our
your
Lives.
friends.
Yeah.
Golden Girls.
That's what I said. Golden Girls.
Still watching your latest episode of Golden Girls, Rick?
Hey, but keep going. We like it.
Keep going, man. We love it, right? We love it.
No, but I got a question on something. So, you look at these companies that we see. You talked about CEOs. You talked about big corporations. The mom and pop shops, because I really favor towards them. I really am somebody that's like, hey, I hope they survive. And are they going through challenges? Obviously, they are with COVID. Are they coming to you with like really stressed out? Like, I can't get my business back the way it was. Can you coach me, or can you tell me, kind of guide me into
Like, I
getting there?
lost my mojo.
Yeah.
Can you help me bring it back?
Exactly.
So it depends. A lot of them have lost employees and are struggling because of that. People who service houses seem to be doing better than, like, I coach someone who owns a garage door company.
Okay.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
I guess the garage door is opening more now. I don't know.
Well, listen, I think a lot of people got that check, right? I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying a lot of people got the check.
And we all
kinda-
know the first thing you think is go towards garage doors.
I would go buy a car, probably a Maserati or something right away. No, I'm just playing. Just playing.
Not unless you first have a really
So
good
we're gonna
garage
leave
door.
now.
Brett's over here looking, but people do have problems, right? They have like serious issues. Now, they may have got that check or they may have got unemployment, but the business side of it, going back to it, even though that they might be doing okay now, are they struggling to get back to where they were?
So it's getting better. Some of my clients run businesses who are 100% dependent on the entertainment industry, the hospitality industry here in Vegas. That wasn't good, right? Big
Still
income
isn't.
to zero income. So, for one of them, we created a new business strategy for him to get to six figures in 6 months with a completely different business plan.
Did he?
Yeah.
Very good.
Wow.
Good for him and good for you.
So these mom and pops, though, they're like, I see some of them on the news. We see them all the time where they're shutting their doors. I went to this place called, if you guys haven't ever checked it out, really nice place. It's called, it's Little, what is it? Little something. It's like a
Little
Asian
Italy?
place. Little Italy. It's a
An
restaurant.
Asian place like Little Italy.
Yeah, Little
Okay.
Italy.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
All of them over there.
Yeah, it's
from Italy.
So I went over there the other day, right? And I've always been to this. It's like a really health style type of restaurant. And went in, they're like, doors are closed, right? And dark inside. I'm like, what happened? And on the door it says closed because they don't have enough employees.
I've seen that on a few
And I've
restaurants.
seen this on
Yeah.
a few restaurants, and I'm like, wait a second.
I have friends, same thing.
All of these,
they have
why
that
is this
promo.
happening?
I've gone to Pollo Loco
Because-
twice in the last 2 months, and they made me come through drive-through because the restaurant was closed
Sure.
because they said they didn't have
So,
enough employees.
because
Is it unemployment? Is that why?
if you didn't have to
getting paid
work that
unemployment?
job, would you? No. That's why no one's working,
But
because
if
they
you're
don't have to.
getting- Yeah, if you're getting paid unemployment, there a lot of people are
Unemployment
making more.
or there's multiple ways online now of
I'm looking at it from a business perspective, though. She
Yeah.
brought up a good point about Pollo Loco, but I'm saying from the mom and pop side of it, if you own a restaurant like that,
Yeah.
okay, and you shut your doors, the thing is, it's not about people not wanting to work. It's more like, I want to run a business. Nobody wants to work for $15 an hour because they're getting paid more on unemployment.
so they
Well,
don't
the-
want to work.
The restaurants
Yes.
are also hit hard right now with COVID. I have friends that own restaurants that, maybe 10, 15% of
They're
the
in a
staff
tight
is out
spot,
with
man.
COVID.
I think, the service industry is by far been screwed over the most in every shape and form, from owners to employees to everything to cut. I mean, with everything. And I'm not making anything political.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think they were probably by far the most hardest hit.
So, from a coaching perspective, it's about not getting taken out, not getting stopped.
Yeah.
So, for instance, some restaurants pivoted and created cook from home with the chef. Come
Yep.
pick up the kit, and you can get on Facebook Live
Necessity is
or
mother of
Instagram
invention.
Live
Yep.
tomorrow night with the chef and cook it from home. And so that's what brought in revenue for a
Yeah.
while.
Some were able to
Pivoting.
pivot and some
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Be
Right?
creative.
I mean, capitalism.
They let us
So,
take alcohol.
We got to.
I know, wasn't that wonderful?
We're going
I
to
loved
move
it.
here to another
Margarita.
segment, but I want to bring this last up. So walk me through the process of somebody that would seek you out and like, what is the process for them to start working with you?
If someone wants to start working with me, they want to fill out the self-assessment on coachingbywendy.com. And then that will be submitted to me. They get a link to my online calendar, and we schedule a 30-minute consultation so we can figure out if it's a good fit. If it's not going to be a good fit, I can refer to other coaches that might be a better fit.
What would be a bad fit?
So if somebody comes to me and says, I want to find the love of my life,
Oh, God.
I can refer you to a relationship coach.
Yeah.
But if you come to me and say, I want to double my revenues next year, I want to have better communication with my team, I want to create a better culture in the organization so that people are more motivated, engaged, and not quitting, that's me. And then if they say, and I'd like to find the love of my life, great, we'll find that too, But
not the
I
primary
focus
focus.
on business.
Another
Yeah.
coach.
Right? I focus on something in your
Let's start with your
professional
business
career.
first.
Is there a specific industry you typically work in, or no?
There's not, because as a coach, I'm not supposed to be the subject matter expert, and you're almost better off if I'm not the subject matter expert, because I haven't drunk the Kool-Aid in your industry.
Very good.
It's like a realtor.
That's cool.
I don't want to hire a realtor who's been in the business for 10 years because they're all full of bad ideas.
Right.
I want the brand new ones who don't know shit, because then I can mold them the way I need them to and teach them,
But
teach
not
them
as a
right.
coach. I love I'm sorry, she's my coach. I don't
Yeah.
know what you call her, but she's my coach. So
Yeah,
It's all
but
good.
you're willing to be open-minded and listen to her and things like that. That's the problem with most agents who have been doing it for a while that want to come aboard.
yeah,
they're
they're
stuck
not-
in their ways, and
yes.
it's like, dude, if you're stuck in your ways, let's see
you're
your
not
checkbook.
coachable or
Or why are you
whatever.
with me then?
Teachable.
Right.
If you're banking.
So let's move
Just
on, because
saying.
we got to keep going, because we got a time frame here that we got to keep up with. But we're going to have all of Wendy's contact information in the comment section. So if you guys want to get a hold of her for business coaching, just to kind of pick her brain and see what she's about, I'm going to have all of her contact information. So Wendy, I want to say thank you for coming on. Stick around, obviously, and we'll definitely have you back. But we're going to go over here to Rick Raines. And Rick Raines has got a lot of good information about property management that he wants to get into. Rick, is there anything new that's starting off at the beginning of this year? Do you have any stories?
Do I have any stories? No, not really.
You know what? I concur.
Right. I'll tell you what. He had.
I'll tell you what, some bitch.
He had an epiphany when Oprah came on.
That was it. That was it. It's it's difficult. It really is. It's difficult to come up with some positive stories. And I don't want to. I really don't like
It's
going.
difficult to come with.
No, I don't like.
Dude, I
going,
love it.
I don't like going to the negative side. So,
Dude, I'm
The
all
dark
about the
side.
dark humor. Trust
Yeah.
me.
It's all about the dark side.
as I know it's all about the dark side, but let me just touch on a couple of things. And again, this is what's kind of interesting, which I really didn't think was going to happen. But since last week, we went down in sales another 4.4%, and single families now are under 2,500
Wow.
from.
So do you guys
And
think we're going to
what,
hit
like 4
2,000?
months?
Right?
Dude.
Man, at the rate we're going, we're going to hit.
I think by
2,000.
tomorrow we'll be at 2,000. What do you think?
So, what, two weeks ago when we did it on a Saturday, from that Saturday to the following Tuesday, it dropped, 3.5%. And now
Yes.
we've dropped
Couple
another.
hundred.
4.
I mean, dude, remember when we were at like 3,500, we were freaking out. And now we're
Yeah.
Yeah,
1,000 less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're 3,100. But
that's-
anyway, so I just wanted to touch base on that it hasn't turned around, that December is still haunting us. And again, in property management, which I've mentioned before, it usually doesn't turn around until the end of January.
Right.
Other than that, one of the things that I know Bret is not going to touch on is that there was an article that was put out about how much people think is required as a down payment in order to get a place. And when I was growing up, it was 20%. And there's a lot of people that believe that 20% is it. If you don't have it, you
don't qualify. You
Is
shouldn't
that
be
to
buying
buy
a house.
Is that to buy or rent?
Buy.
to buy.
To buy.
And
Yeah.
Right now, the national average is 13% for all homeowners.
Wow.
For down payment?
For down payment. And for first timers, it's on average 7%.
Wow.
And it can go as low as 3.5% depending on what program you're getting into. So basically what I'm trying to get at is if you're interested in buying, that 20% rule that your parents grew up with is pretty much out the window, and that the average is only 13%, and for first timers it's around 7%. So keep that in mind if you're interested in purchasing, and Bret would love to talk to you or Corin about that.
Yep.
And the other thing I just wanted to touch on real quick is when you're going out to make an offer or to buy something, there's basically 5 things that you want to keep in mind. One is know your budget and get pre-approved if you're not paying cash. And that pre-approval is really huge because you're going to be up, depending on the price range, as Bret will bring up, depending on the price range, you're going to be up against cash buyers. You need to be able to move fast. You can't talk to the spouse for 3-4 days and expect to come back.
Be gone.
It's going to be gone. And that, again, that has to do with whether or not you're basically below 400,000 or you're above 400,000. Make sure that you go through a real estate professional. Make sure that you make a strong offer to begin with, because if you try and go in too low, you're guaranteed to be outbid by somebody else, and you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So, and the last thing is to be flexible, and it's unwise, especially if you're brand new, to waive the inspection contingency, because you could end up buying a house, getting the house, and then you're going to have so much more in expenses that you hadn't anticipated that you may not be able to either make it the way you want to, or it's going to be one of those, I forget what they're called when you just keep having to throw money at it, but
Money pit.
a money pit.
Yeah.
So you could end up with a money pit if you forego that inspection contingency. So keep those things in mind, and that's pretty much what I wanted to touch on. As far as property management, everything is status quo. It's very slow right now. If you want to get a place,
Have the
it's easy.
listings on the rentals on the market?
Actually,
gone
what's
down more?
interesting, the rentals on the market went down slightly. So that's contracting too. And
Well, that's good though. We needed some type of correction or reset a little bit.
But
Just-
remember, he said that it was going to slow down a little,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, and
But I
normally
mean-
it would for sales too. But we're
Listen, I got people that are looking for rentals though, and they're calling you on a daily basis, and they can't find anything out there. Why is that?
I have a friend like that.
it's the same thing. You got to pull the trigger. The last, the last one you sent me was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And her parameters, and that's another thing. You got to be open on your parameters.
Right.
And her parameters were open enough that within a matter of a few minutes, I was able to send her 15 in the area.
Nice.
that she
Wow.
wanted. So,
See?
cool.
But you know, if she sat on them for any length of time, they were probably all gone. She needed to get, and I told her that, you know, you need to pull the trigger.
It's conversations you have with people from the get go.
It's
Here's
similar-
where we're at, and
Yeah.
here's what you need to do.
Cool. I have a referral for you, Ben.
Me too,
2
actually.
bedroom with
I do
handicap.
There you go. Send him his way, man.
Oh no!
Send-
That's a
seriously,
different
send him Rick's
conversation.
way.
Let me
I
say
have
this.
a legit one.
So
No, he is actually.
we all need to like look at this, and we'll talk about this in the show. But we're all here to help each other. Now, Rick, I sent you that person. It's the same with buying. No, if you're not going to open up your parameters and you're thinking, well, it's all or nothing. I got people that want to buy a home, but they can't qualify to buy a home in this market, so they're forced to go maybe a condo or townhome.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to be there forever. It just means that's where you're at. Now, also in other situations, they want to be in Summerlin or places like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're going up against a lot of competition, right? You got a lot of cash buyers. You got people that are willing to go above list. You're paying lot premiums if you're buying a new home, consistently higher.
Yeah.
So, right? So, Bret, let's talk to you, man. What's going on with your situation? Now, do you want to talk real estate or do you want to talk crypto? You tell me.
I mean, we can talk some real estate first. I mean, just to kind of go on the national forecast. I mean, we all know that homes went up this past year, but from nationally, from last October to this October, we've gone up surprisingly 18.1%. But like I said, we've kind of talked about the past few shows is what do we anticipate the price being for increasing in this next year coming up? They have it at, I think, 2.3%. And I think we're what, 3 to 5%.
I think that's way off.
I figured 5%.
I agree. I just go by it's
No.
it's core logic, and they have a very extensive track
Yeah,
record of
but-
going 30 years. So
Well,
I'm not saying they
wait.
can't be wrong.
Is that CoreLogic national or is that for Nevada?
It's national. This is for national.
Okay, so nationally, I might agree with that
Yeah.
because there's areas of the country
Sure.
that,
So
that are
yeah,
going to be depressed.
that's not specific Las Vegas.
So I'm still sticking with 5% for Vegas.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay,
But-
let's say this real quick, and
Sure.
you can talk about it, Brett. Is nobody saw that Omicron or all the COVID was happening and all these things that's gone on. Plus, through all that, people still had that consistency. They still had an urgency to go out and buy a home. There's always these things that nobody sees. Is what I'm trying to imply. Is that you go through a process of buying. At some point, if people want to buy, they're going to buy no matter what it is. And some of these things, these big things that happen, events that happen in life, we don't see that happening. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, prices went up 15%
I
or
would've-
18%. Well, why? Maybe because people were staying at home. They had nothing else to focus on.
I would have never
right?
foresaw Corona, and I would have never foresaw what happened out of it with the housing market.
You would
never,
think it'd be the opposite,
never in
right?
a million years. And that's what I'm saying is, when we want to talk about the future and next year, what's going to happen now, based on what's happening right now and the facts involved, this is what I think. But at the same time, I've always said you can be susceptible to something huge coming along that we couldn't anticipate, and then you're playing by ear.
I just wished I would have been able to talk to that fortune teller that we
Right?
You and me both, brother. I wouldn't be sitting here, dude. I'd be
could
on
have
an
been on
island.
top of it.
Well, and you know what? I mean, Wendy, were you back in the time of 2007 and 8, 6, 7, and 8, where the collapse happened here?
Oh, gosh.
I moved to Vegas in 2008.
Yeah, so you moved right when it happened,
Right in the thick of it.
right? Right when
She
it
got a good
right after it
price.
occurred.
That's a
Well, I
good
sold my house in the Bay Area in 2007
Nice.
Man.
Ooh, just by the skin of
Look
your
at
teeth.
that.
at the top.
Dude,
At the top.
I'm telling you.
And then I sat out for a year.
Pat yourself on the back for timing on that one.
Sat out for a year while we made sure Vegas was
In the
really
Bay
where we
Area,
wanted to
too.
go.
Wow.
But I mean,
I'm sure that was cheap.
She double dipped.
so Corinne, are you seeing the same like with these buyers out there, right? We're talking with Brett. Are you seeing the same consistencies that Brett's saying here, where you have buyers that are struggling? Like some of the times you have buyers that are having a hard time getting into a house, depending
Yeah.
on where they're buying.
And
So
the price point.
Right,
Basically,
price
the
point.
price point.
supply, inventory.
Yeah.
it's all the same stuff.
Yeah, but I think a lot of buyers now, it's great that they know how to get pre-approved. They need to
Mm-hmm.
do that. But yeah, it's supply.
So, and
now.
kind of talking about before is it's not so much that people are waiving home inspections. It's the appraisal thing you need to be mindful of
appraisal,
right
yeah,
now.
they gotta
That's
come out of
the most
pocket with
important
that.
factor, which
Yeah.
is we know it's going to appraise lower and you're going to have to pay more. How much are you willing to bring in the difference?
Right.
That's
Well,
what the conversation
I want to
of.
say one thing too is that in other countries they don't give you that 5 or 3 or 10% down because mortgage insurance supports that here. And so you're seeing
Yeah.
in other countries they won't even give you. They'll say
That's
you
why
need
a
to
lot
put
of other countries are poor because they
40%
can't get
down.
loans.
They
I mean,
can't-
think about if you couldn't get a loan on your car or a house. Do you know how much wealth that alone creates in someone's life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And if you can't get a loan, even a small loan in a foreign country, no wonder they're.
I've had properties in France, and I believe we put down
Oui?
20. Oui, avec mon mari.
Oh, whoa! Look at that!
like
wow.
that.
So I think
International.
we did put down 20%. Of course, you're also paying 19.6% tax on the price of
How
the
much?
building.
Yeah.
19.6% value added
Wow.
tax on the building
When you purchase.
when you purchase.
Yo!
Yes.
Crazy.
And then we
On
had
the whole building.
right, and then you have mortgage insurance different from our mortgage insurance. It's on if you die, it pays off your property, and it's
Yeah.
mandatory.
That's good.
Oh.
Well, we have a lot of
just
people
fair.
moving here for tax reasons, right?
yeah,
Property taxes
absolutely. Yeah.
significantly lower than California. 43% of people coming from California come and reside here, right?
No
So we-
state income tax.
no state income tax.
So good for
taxes
business.
on businesses are lower,
Yep.
right?
Gavin Newsom is our Realtor of the Year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Governor.
we should be
Realtor
buying
of the
them dinner. I mean, thanks, bud. Keep your policies going.
Keep
So I think.
raising those taxes.
That's right.
So do you guys feel that we're going to consistently be lower on the inventory levels, or is this going to start to pop back the other direction?
Nope, we're going to stay low for a while. Barring anything, like I said, major that we couldn't predict. But I don't see. I mean, dude, we're at 2,500 homes. I can't even stress to you how low of a level that is,
Yeah.
let alone basing that off a level before everybody started moving here the past 2 years. So I don't even know what the real
What about you, Corinne?
level
What do
on
you
that
think?
is.
I absolutely agree.
She agrees. Next. Just kidding.
I concur.
That was my first coach.
I'm just
Look at that. Look at that.
Speaking of coaches,
He's like, he blinked at her. He's like, just do what I say.
Yeah.
Just do what I say.
That's called consulting.
I always
see,
do.
Craig and I have been knowing each other so long, I just look at her, it's like,
I read his mind.
Got you, girl.
No, I got a little house homework for everybody, even in this room. 4 pieces of documents. Who's got their mortgage balance statement?
I don't.
Who's got their deed, title? Who
do.
has got their homeowner's insurance?
I do.
Property inspection. Those 4. Raise your hand if you have.
I got them all online.
What do you mean have them? Know where they are.
Have them, know where they are.
They're in that,
your
sure,
place.
that case
All
safe
online,
over
ready to
there.
print out.
Just I keep them in a case.
Mine's in the
A lot of
safety
people don't have
deposit
that. You
box.
should have that. It's the
I got mine on
beginning of the year, get it all there.
NFT, stored in blockchain, Ethereum, gas fees up the ass, but it's worth it.
Seriously, we have to have all that. It's beginning of the year. Get organized. Just have that ready. Have that on your Google Drive.
All right, so let's go ahead and go and transition to cryptocurrency because Brett wants to have a lengthy conversation.
No,
of 5
not
minutes,
lengthy. I can't talk that long
Of
about
5
it. No,
minutes
just kidding.
about what's going on, and you guys can all ask questions because Brett.
I'd rather they just ask questions, man. I mean, because the market's just kind of doing its thing right now. It's chopping up and
Okay.
down, not really doing anything. It's just
I have a question.
wicking you out.
Is there any service out there that is tracking how many people are actually in the crypto market?
Yes.
There is.
Yeah,
So-
I can send you a few links.
So is that increasing? Is it decreasing? Are people getting scared and getting out, or are
It's
more people coming
increased
in?
significantly over the past year. In fact, 80% of everyone who's ever bought Bitcoin has never sold.
So what
That's-
percent?
Everything that you see right
a
now
big
is
number.
total manipulation. It's 20%, and it's people who I mentioned before who mined Bitcoin from their laptop back in 2011, and they could wake up in the morning and have 1,000 Bitcoin. I mean, those people have so much Bitcoin right now that they can just mess with it. I mean, think about if you come into a low volume coin that has like 240,000 in it. I mean, you could come in with 2 Bitcoin and just slowly. And most of them just have their bots set up. All you're seeing in trading right now, why it's dipping, barely doing anything up and down, it's just bots. You're trying to go against a bot. You're not going to win.
So what percentage over this last year?
Has it increased?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it increased?
I can't tell you for number of actual users, but I
Just
can say
percentage.
that it's gone from like well over $1 trillion market, and it was what 500 billion before, if even. So it's at least
Yeah,
doubled.
So what percentage of
wait.
Americans have Bitcoin?
I don't know exactly. I could look it up. Not
the-
that much. I mean, it's about 5 to 7% of the world is into Bitcoin and
The
cryptocurrency.
the amount of money is different than the number of people because one person could be in it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Well, and then
he
even with that, there's different things behind that, which is a lot of the Bitcoin that's being bought. So here's the problem: is a lot of people try to buy Bitcoin or have tried to buy Bitcoin with credit cards, and a lot of credit card companies will not allow you or would not allow you to buy Bitcoin with your credit card or with your banking account. So what happened was there was a stable coin called Tether, which was basically created, which is basically equivalent and pegged to the US dollar. So Tether doesn't go up to like $1.15 and down to 85 cents. It stays 99 cents, $1, whatever it is. It's pegged to the US dollar. But a lot of people believe that what's behind Tether is really nothing. They say that they're backed by stocks and bonds in the US dollar, but they've never really had to prove it. So people buy Tether so that they can buy Bitcoin because their bank won't let them. So what happens if behind the scenes Tether pulls the curtain and it's really nothing behind
nothing
it?
there.
The whole market, dude, will tank. It would recover eventually, but it would be a whole different and a whole new market. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying these are things that, you know, you're talking about a space where there's 5 to 7% of the world, man.
Well,
It's
nobody
got a
really
long
even
ways to
knows
go.
where it's going.
So
you really
I have a
don't.
new,
Yeah.
new question.
It's going up.
Are there credit card companies that do allow you to buy any
They do now.
type of crypto?
Yes. There's a lot that do now.
So what has changed?
Yeah, why are they allowing
Why-
it?
why
There's
are
a
they
lot
allowing
more. There's a lot more accessibility to it now. Basically, because it got to the point where it got so big that people had to pay attention to it. Financial institutions that tried to ignore it, they had too many clients with high wealth coming to them saying, "I want to get into crypto, but I don't want to go to a crypto exchange. I want to do it through something secure that I'd feel like a brokerage or something like that." So by demand of their clients, with their wealthy clients, they had to basically force to get into it.
But is it secure though? I mean, honestly, the long term, nobody really knows. We don't know.
Well,
what's
I
going,
mean,
right?
what do you mean secure?
You're saying they're taking their money. I want to do it through, a financial institution that feels secure.
You mean like through Tether?
Yeah, or wherever.
Well,
banks
there's
that
a
are
difference
allowing
because
it
if you do it through Tether or like on an exchange, that's totally different because none of these exchanges are regulated.
right.
But the point why a lot of us and anybody who wants the best for crypto wants to have regulation, because if you have regulation, then you're going to have real money get into it because they're going to do it through their stock brokerage. They're going to, because then it will be secure. Because you can't expect somebody with $10 million to, I'm just going to stick it into something that I don't know is going to. You have security with the stock market. You have security with the NASDAQ and all these different things. So when you talk about these crypto exchanges, you can make a lot of money. I mean, you can leverage 100 times on something and make $10,000 off $500 in 5 minutes if you know what you're doing. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that go down in there that would never be that if you did it in a regulated market, you'd be going to jail. Right. Yeah. Straight up.
So look, we all know that
Absolutely.
some of the things we're seeing right now is that a lot of the big names out there, the Ethereum, you got Bitcoin, Litecoin, you got
Doge,
Solana. So all of these are kind of, not all of them, but a lot of them are going the other direction. They're going down right now. So are we going into like more of a bear market on this?
Who knows? Could.
I mean, I don't see why we would not. At least I know we have to it can't just keep going up.
Every time that it's gone into a bear market, I mean, you don't know it's a bear market until it's kind of out of a bear market and you're looking back, you're like, shit, that was a 3-year bear market.
Yeah.
But, you can't, listen, from what, January last year, January to March or April in 4 months, it went from like $19,000 to $65,000. Yeah. But for the previous 3 years, it went between $5,000 to $12,000. For 3 years, it sat between like $5,000 and $12,000, and then 3 or 4 months, vroom. So you look at it that way, and you say, okay, well, can it go from 20,000 to 60,000 every 4 months? No, I mean that in itself is crazy. But you can say, okay, it's been around for 10 years and gone up over 1,000,000%. So
you guys have any other questions for Bret on cryptocurrency? Like, do you guys have any questions because look, we don't really follow crypto. Like, I understand crypto. I'll tell you that in the lending world, we're starting to see more people with cryptocurrency to use for down payment, closing costs. The number one thing that everybody has an issue with is we can't get statements for the most part. Coinbase, things like that to source the money where it's at. Now, when you go through it, I figured out a loophole. So if you guys want to get a hold of me, I'll help you out. But I found a loophole.
You can do it. I mean, I have friends in crypto who bought Bitcoin in 2013, 2014, and they're very wealthy, man. And every single one of them can bring in statements and they have when they bought homes.
Absolutely. And that's going to be the norm is what I'm saying. So
it's because it's seasoned, though. I mean, they haven't touched their accounts in like 5 years, dude. They bought Litecoin and it was like $2.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I got nothing else on crypto. Do you have anything else?
No, man. I'll be here next week talking about the same thing.
I want to also introduce Shannon Miller. So Shannon, you came on the show here, and I want to just say thank you. And we want to have her back as well, and just kind of give us some insight.
Talk about your business a little bit.
Well, not just about the business. Let's just talk to her about like how she got to Vegas and what she's up to and how she, I guess, became who she is. So.
Oh my gosh, that's a long
You're gonna go there,
story.
Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, you told him he had 5 minutes.
Yeah, how are you supposed to wrap that up?
In a nutshell.
I don't know if you can
Say
wrap
all
this
that
up.
in
Like,
30
dude,
seconds.
You can't wrap this
There's
up.
a lot going on up here.
Okay,
No.
and go. You got 30
Ready,
seconds.
set, go. I was raised in Vegas.
Okay, 10 seconds?
No, I was raised in Vegas and been here pretty much my whole life. I have 2 boys. I have a 10 and 12-year-old.
Nice.
Divorced, doing my thing.
Good.
I've owned some businesses. I'm unemployable. And I've just been on a path of, really making a difference in my community and run events for women in business out here.
Yeah,
There's
you're a
lots
true
of things.
entrepreneur too. Like, so I'm sorry, you said you were born here?
Yeah.
Or you were born here?
No,
So-
I wasn't born here. I was raised here.
You were raised here. Where were you from? Everybody's from somewhere. I'm from California. Everybody's
Right.
Rick's from California. You're from the Bay Area. Yeah.
Southern California, Pasadena. Can be
Pasadena.
You're in
Okay.
Pasadena? That's
Yeah.
where I'm from.
Yeah, but the problem is people say that and they're like, "Oh, so do you know such and such?" I'm like, "No, I got here when I was 5."
Yeah, nobody knows.
I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
I
You don't
was
remember all those
raised
people
here.
in your four?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
don't know nothing.
You don't know the
Need to
people
work
I
on your memory.
graduated with
I
in
don't.
72?
I just know where my great grandma lived.
There's a
Kind of,
twinkle in her mom's eye then, Rick.
Well, and so we're going to try to keep bringing on Shannon here because I think she has a really good element.
So
to the show,
you organize events for women, or
I do.
Okay.
They're called together.
I love it. Love
They're
it.
so much
Love it.
fun, right?
Yes,
They're great.
fabulous.
And we incorporate men in business as well.
Okay.
So
Nice.
entrepreneurs, business owners, we bring them together. Just really good people for partnership, new clientele,
So- okay.
investors, that kind
So
of stuff.
how many businesses do you actually have right now? Is it just the one
Just
now?
one, just one now.
Okay. And what's the name of it?
It's SM Consulting, so it's a consulting business, not coaching. There's a difference. And prior to that, I owned a medical weight loss practice, and I
Okay.
built an online health and wellness business. And went through some life and was like, what do I? It's kind of the same thing. You
Yeah.
go through that moment. I'm like, what am I really good at, and what do I really want to do? And I just went, okay, head down, let's go.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I do too is like in the consulting portion of what I do, there's the connections. I've just naturally, I'm an extrovert and I love people.
Good.
And I'm a really good judge of character. And it's just, I don't know. It just happens.
That's the complete
naturally.
opposite of me.
It's
No,
ding, 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 ding.
my dog's a really good judge of character too.
So good. Yeah, but no, the Together events, you guys get to join. It's amazing.
right, cool.
It's wonderful. Good people.
All right, you guys have anything else to say? Rick, you know what, man? I appreciate you coming back on. And guys, we got a full stacked group of people that are going to be coming on. A lot of people on
Yeah.
that's going to come on here in 2022. Can you show me the guns really quick for 2022, Rick? Just real quick, buddy.
Rick, let's see him, man.
Let's
Come
see the
on.
guns.
I would
2020.
love
We
to.
got to start. Oh wow! You got to start off.
You guys
right.
want
it
tickets
is.
to the gun show?
You got to
Oh my
start off right,
gosh.
man.
I almost got
Corinne,
really inappropriate.
Corinne, what do you know? What do you know, Corinne?
Corinne spilled her drink over there.
Well, yeah, we need some words from
She
you.
fell over.
What's going on,
I
Corinne?
give you homework. The Asian chick gave you homework.
Oh, come on. What, did you work this weekend? Did you do any
Of course, I worked this weekend.
Open house?
I actually, no, not this week. No,
Okay.
no open house. This
Just
week.
showing homes?
Yeah, no.
Just right to the money part.
No, I
working.
haven't. I was gonna have a couple appointments, but a couple clients. They had one of them just recovering from COVID. I'm like, take your time.
Yeah.
that
No,
was
no
a-
rush on that one.
That was a fun one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As long as you're still gonna buy, we're all good.
So let's go back to Rick because we got to end the show. How does somebody get a hold of you, Rick?
Atlas Group LC, and the phone number is 702-916-2200, and our website is www.property-mgmt.com.
Call now. Okay, Brett.
now.
How does somebody get a hold of you, buddy?
BretJenny.com or 702-628-3476, 628-FIRM.
Okay.
I love saying that shit. Yeah, so yeah, just BretJenny.com.
All right, Corinne.
corinLujan.com.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, man.
That's all you
And
need to know.
All these links will be
That's
below
all you
too, right?
need.
That's all I need.
All right. So we're also going to go ahead and introduce
Shannon's website?
Shannon, you can throw that out there. Go ahead. What's your website, Shannon?
No website, but I'm primarily on social media. So
Okay.
Shannon Miller, SHANN Miller LV on Instagram, on Facebook, Shannon Miller, and then phone is 702-445-9473.
Cool.
She's
I wanna
social
say-
media rock star.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, we all
I'll
have to
take
be
it.
at this point, right? Even if we don't know how, we got to try. So
That's right.
I also want to say, Wendy, our guest of honor, and we're gonna have all of her contact information. If you guys are out there and you guys want to get a hold of Wendy, I want you guys to go ahead and call her or look at the information. And Wendy, how does somebody get a hold of you? And you can throw it out again.
702-907-4282 or coachingbywendy.com.
Excellent, guys. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
This
Good
is
job.
our first show. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Also, if you guys have any comments for any of us,
First show of the new year.
first show of the new year,
You said first show.
first show
Damn, we're
ever.
pretty good for first show ever.
First show ever. I mean, we're good like that. So, but you guys, if
Naturals.
you guys have any questions, this is the most real behind the scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan French, and we will see you guys at the next stream.